Okay, so I just thought I would start a little video now for some of the things I'm doing in Brisbane, and I haven't been here for that long yet, but I've already done a couple fun stuff. Like I went to this fun boat party yesterday and just have met a bunch of cool people, and now today I'm just doing a little bit of shopping. Okay, so I remember after that I went into the city and I got this really good hot chocolate from the Noosa Chocolate Factory. I think in terms of shopping that day, all I got was a hat, which was something that I needed at the time because I had just moved to Australia, and all I had was a little bucket hat. And then I went to the markets in South Bank, which were full of cool things. It was very lovely to walk around. And something I noticed was how they cover their trees in these magical lights, so you really feel like you're in a fairy tale. So this is now a new day, and I think I'll do like a campus tour. Okay, I'm here on QUT's campus, and it's literally the most beautiful paradise. There's so many palm trees everywhere, and here I'll show some of the like foliage and palm trees and everything. So this building is called the Old Government House, and it has a museum on the main floors and an art gallery in the basement, or like the lower levels. And it's pretty cool. I really like the architecture. Ooh, and here's the little campus piano that I've been itching to play. Something that's really special about QUT's Gardens Point campus is that it's right next to the City Botanical Gardens. So there's all these beautiful things to see, and lush open green spaces and pathways through these beautiful little gardens. And I just really love walking around the Botanic Gardens whenever I possibly can. So I spent a lot of time in the Botanical Gardens that day, and then I actually went into the city. So that Mecca store is like Australia's version of Sephora, which was kind of cool. And I also noticed all these tiny little doors, which are very intriguing. There must be a civilization of tiny little elves coexisting with us. And then I went back to South Bank, where I got this really awesome hot chocolate and just walked along the river. And it's almost looking blue today, so that was cool. Okay, so now it's a new day. This is a weekly Wednesday market that the city holds in this area called the City Square, I think. It's right across from the bridge, and this is the bridge that will take you like directly into the city. So after I went to the market, I went to this lovely little tropical area by the river. It has these gorgeous wooden pathways that I love to walk across basically whenever I am nearby. So I walked into this little seating area, and I'll sit here and show you some of the things that I bought from the market. So these little fishy earrings were only $5, and not $5 each, like both of them together, and they're handmade, and they're just so cute. I just absolutely love them. And then I also got this very interesting handmade instrument, which is basically a stick for your hair. And I never really have done that before. Like whenever I put my hair in a bun, I always use like a big claw clip. So I think I will try using one of these like hair sticks. And then I also got these really cool coasters that are made out of Pokemon cards. Look how iridescent it is. Like they're so cute and colorful. Oh, hello there. And now I'm heading towards this Nepalese temple, which is extremely intricately made. It's so beautiful, and it sits right by the river, so it's very easy for me to get to. I come here all the time, honestly. It's very relaxing and peaceful. And usually there's not many people around, which is quite nice. So I can sit here by myself. And luckily I had my sketchbook with me this time, so I did a bunch of sketches and just did some art and relaxed a lot. And now I'll just show some more clips of it because it's really beautiful. Okay, now I'll talk about some of the animals that I've seen here so far. Like, of course, these adorable lizards, which have been gracing me with their presence since I arrived. But also, I can't believe I got to see a kookaburra so quickly. It was so fluffy and adorable, and they have such big heads. And I also got to see some adorable baby water hens, which again are super fluffy. And then I saw this funky looking derpy little bird on campus, which apparently is a masked lapwing. And then I also just hung out for a little while in the vegetable garden, reading my new little book. And of course there's lots of birds here, and one of the birds that I took a couple of videos of was the incredible ibis. And this ibis was so cute. I went back to the vegetable garden that night to work on a card or like a letter to a good friend of mine. So it was a very peaceful place to write that. And now I'll just show some more clips of the botanical gardens because I've got so many of those. Okay, so now I think I'll talk a little bit about some of the food that I've been able to eat here because I've been really lucky and gone out quite a lot. Here's some spring rolls that I got. Here's a margarita pizza. This was really good gnocchi, but this was my favorite dish I got. I mean, of course, I just love pasta so much. It was basically like pasta and tomato sauce, but it was so good. And here's some good drinks I've had. This was a mocktail, and I loved how they put all these little hearts throughout. It just turned out so cute, and it tasted really good, but it was pretty expensive, so I don't think I'll get it again. This was like a drink I had at the campus bar, and here are some desserts. So this was creme brulee. I love creme brulee, so that was a very happy moment for me. This was the first time I ever tried panna cotta, so that was interesting. And of course, here's tiramisu. I've loved tiramisu. And my favorite of all desserts, as always, is the molten chocolate lava cake. So this one really took my #1 spot, I have to say. And of course, I can't forget all the hot chocolates I've been having, which are basically like my sustaining life force. They're just so good here. And this one was at the Calvin Grove campus, so maybe I'll do a little Calvin Grove tour now with some of the videos I took. This is Building A. I'm not sure what that means. I've never been inside it. Something interesting about this campus is that it has all these hills, so it's got so many bridges and staircases and pathways and elevators like this one. So it's pretty cool. I really like coming here for my classes, like this one, for example, fashion design. In this class, we were just kind of playing with these half-size mannequins and seeing how they fold, how the fabrics kind of fit on top of the mannequin. This was my very first fashion design assignment, which was a bunch of sewing exercises. I was pretty proud of the Hong Kong bind, but the other ones were a little scuffy. Okay, so today is Friday, and I've got a couple of things I need to do today, and I'm going to be going on to the Gardens Point campus, so I'll just show maybe some little clips of walking across the bridge and stuff, as long as the weather holds up. Okay. So this was a first. I saw someone jet skiing across the Brisbane River while I was walking over the bridge. I really hope they don't swallow any of the water. I thought this was pretty funny. The chemistry building looks so unnecessarily frightening, and even just like the font is like this gothic, archaic font that just sends chills down my spine. Then there's this really pretty little meditative garden that's just right in the middle of campus, and it's actually right next to the library. So if you can kind of see through the trees, there's the library. And while I was in the library, I saw this cool cat statue. Here's a bunch of wooden cats in little crates. And my favorite, of course, is that tortoiseshell one. I love tortoiseshell cats. And then this is just a picture I took of this cool interactive screen they have where I have my marine science class. So that's pretty neat. Okay, so it was super windy today, so when I got home I just really quickly put my hair into these two little ponytails with these new hair clips that I got from the South Bank Market. And yeah, so that'll make it a little easier to walk around without my hair flying everywhere in the wind. And it's so unfortunate because I really do feel like the wind means that the winter is coming, but I don't want the winter. I didn't come here for winter. I get enough winter at home. So dinner that night was falafels at a Turkish restaurant, and they were so good. And then I, of course, had to go get hot chocolate, and just look at that. What a sight to behold. I could stare at that for hours. Anyway, I took my hot chocolate out to South Bank. Ooh, look, there's an ibis. And just walked around South Bank, and I took a bunch more videos of South Bank just so that I'm 100% sure that I've included enough. So here's the river again, and there in the distance is the pedestrian bridge that I walk over on my way to Gardens Point. And then here's just some cards I was writing to my family as I sat in this beautiful area looking out at the Brisbane River. It's so peaceful here, and most of the time the weather is really sunny and bright. And then this day was from a field trip that I did for my marine science class. So we went to 3 different locations, and this first one was Carburetor Beach. It was so beautiful. From the moment I got there, all I wanted to do was just to run into the water and become one with the waves. The water was so inviting, and I just wanted to go swimming so badly. But I had to stay on land. It was still really cool though, and I took a lot of notes from my marine science class and just enjoyed being there. And this location was called Fingal Head, and it had such an interesting rock formation there that you can see. But yeah, that ocean was just something else. I could have stared at it for hours and hours. It was just so incredibly inviting and beautiful. And then something even more magical happened, which was that the professor pointed out that there were actually dolphins in the water. And it's kind of hard to see them, but you can see them if you look really closely. And now for another more recent adventure, which was going surfing for the first time. So I went to the Varsity Lake Station, and a friend taught me how to surf. I didn't really get any videos, except for really the return home, which was at this train station where I was literally the only person there, which was very interesting. But I totally felt safe the whole time. I just had to do this one transfer, and it was quite easy to navigate. And then when I went back, I got myself a hot chocolate because I was just craving hot chocolate, and it really hit the spot. And even though I ate at the Gold Coast, I also got a crepe because I was craving one too, and it was so delicious. I guess I really worked up an appetite from my little surfing adventure. So this is a new day where I actually woke up super early because there is a hike being hosted by my residents at 6:45 a.m. But alas, it was canceled due to the rain, but that's okay. I really love the sound of the rain, and I'll let a clip play of it now. So yeah, I got this really good thing for breakfast. It was like a chickpea hash brown basically, and of course I also got hot chocolate. And then I just took advantage of the fact that I was up so early, and I decided to go to one of the weekly Sunday morning markets. It's called the Riverside Market, and there's just lots of cool, fun trinkets here. I just love it here. There's so much cool stuff just to look at, and lots to see. And I got this little dragonfly scrunchie. And look, my pants got totally soaked from the rain. Then the sun came out, and everything was so beautiful. All of the water lilies opened up, and I saw this massive eel just swimming through the water. And then I decided to walk to the city center. So I crossed the main bridge. That building is actually a casino, which is really interesting. And I went down Queen Street, which I've now become very familiar with. I come here all the time, and this time I headed over to the chocolate factory to get a hot chocolate. It was so good. And then I decided to go to a vintage bookstore in the city that I've been meaning to explore. And this is it. This is what it looks like. It was full of old books. And there was this one collection of books I saw here that was called Around the World with the Gnomes. And it was super cool. I wanted to get them. And then I went to this other store that I really like called Mui, and it's full of hair accessories. And there's just a lot to see here. It's just so colorful and sparkly. And here is this awesome cheetah vase that I saw there. Look how regal she is. And here is another bookstore. So I got to go to 2 bookstores in one day. This obviously isn't a vintage bookstore, but it had a lot of cool stuff like this thing going on, which was a fun little blind date with a book thing where you buy it but you don't know what book it is. So I got this one because it was only $5. So even though I'm on a budget, I got it, and I'm really happy because it looks like a really cool book by Brenda Matthews called The Last Daughter. So I'm excited to read it. I read it in the vegetable garden for a little while, and then I left the vegetable garden. This is a statue of Confucius, which is pretty cool. And then I just browsed the South Bank markets without buying anything. I just love looking at everything. This one has so many cool gemstones and fossils. So I always like to look around the market. And yeah, that's a bit of a summary of my whole first month. I've had such an amazing time. I didn't quite expect this to turn into a video diary, but that's basically what it is. And I'll just end it with this great shot of this awesome lizard.